Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with the miserable liberal and Ron Placone.
Hey, Jimmy.
Howdy.
Hi. So, now, I hope you understand that when I was a kid, I grew up in Chicago, and every year the Nazis would march in Skokie, which is a predominantly Jewish suburb, or that's what I was led to believe. That's why they're marching there. And it would always make the news, and the ACLU would always defend them, and we all understood. We all hated the Nazis, and we were all like, "Oh, I wish they'd come to our neighborhood." Everybody wanted to do something to them, but we understood that you couldn't ban them from marching. We understood that if you could take their right away, you could take someone else's right away, because you don't like them, right? So. Protection of the freedom of speech, right? The First Amendment is not to protect speech we agree with. The First Amendment is there to protect speech we don't agree with, speech that we hate. That's why you need protection for it. Speech everyone agrees with doesn't need protections. Get it? Okay. So now we move on to this. So Facebook, Apple, YouTube, and Spotify has banned InfoWars. So Facebook unpublished 4 pages run by Jones for repeated violations of community standards, the company said on Monday. YouTube terminated his account over him repeatedly appearing in videos despite subject to a 90-day ban from the website. And Spotify removed the entirety of one of Jones's podcasts for hate content. A few hours after Facebook announced its ban, YouTube also terminated Jones's account on its platform. Did you know this?
Yeah. I saw this today. I mean, this is
just
breaking right now.
Yeah, me too. The company issued a statement that didn't refer to Jones by name, saying only that, quote, all users agreed to comply with our terms of service and community guidelines when they sign up to use YouTube. The Guardian understands that the specific rationale for Jones' ban was his habit of appearing in live streams hosted on other channels on the site, despite being subject to a 90-day ban. When users violate these policies repeatedly, like our policies against hate speech and harassment, or our terms prohibiting circumvention of our enforcement measures, we terminate their accounts. Wow. That's some pretty radical shit, man. That's like, oh, we just went and wrecked this guy's business. We decided he doesn't deserve to have a business. Right? That's like if AT&T just decided, we didn't like the shit you're saying on your phone calls, so we're going to cut off your phone.
Mm-hmm.
No more phone for you. What? Right? That's a private company. The electric company going, we don't like how you're using your electricity to power all those computers for hate speech, so we're not going to give you electricity. We're a private company. Facebook and YouTube's enforcement action against Jones came hours after Apple removed Jones from its podcast directory. The timing of Facebook's announcement was unusual, with the company confirming the ban at 3 a.m. local time. What the F and F? And again, this is not anyone here defending Alex Jones. Please don't say something stupid like that. Apple does not tolerate hate speech, and we have clear guidelines that creators and developers must follow to ensure we provide a safe environment for all our users. An Apple spokesperson told BuzzFeed News, which first reported the removal, podcasts that violate these guidelines are removed from our directory, making them no longer searchable or available for download or streaming. We believe in representing a wide range of views so long as people are respectful to those with differing opinions. So, this is a very slippery slope. In fact, it's not a slippery slope. It's not a slippery slope. It's predictable what's going to happen next. So this isn't slippery.
This is the beginning.
This is just the beginning of something that's predictable. And I've been telling people on the left, pushing the Russiagate thing, that they're going to use that to silence you. They're going to say that the left is now if you're a Bernie supporter, they've already said it. If you're a Bernie supporter, you're in bed with Putin. You're in bed with Russia. If you're Black Lives Matter, you're Russian. They've already done it. They're already doing it. So now there's only one Facebook. There aren't two, you know what I mean? Like there's only one Twitter, there's only one Facebook, iTunes and Spotify. I mean,
well, that's the thing. I mean, these places have such a wide reach,
right?
They really are, and you know, and it's tough to have any type of sympathy for an Alex Jones. I mean, I don't appreciate their content at all. However, institutions this big that have the type of pull as far as content goes,
this is in the corner store.
They shouldn't be able to just have like their own vague community guidelines that they can just enforce however they want. They should have to follow the First Amendment.
Well, I agree.
Right.
I think they should have to follow the First Amendment.
And that's why, like, I've had a hard time, like, even comprehending, because whether or not Alex Jones has ever violated the First Amendment, you would need to ask somebody more fluent in his catalog than myself. Like, I don't watch enough of his content to know the answer to that one way or another. But either way, that's not how it's been applied.
So now the way people communicate, the town square is electronic. The town square is Facebook. The town square is Twitter. And these places should be looked at as they should be regulated. That's what all those hearings were about. Should we regulate Facebook? That's what they were about. And Facebook's like, no, we're going to self-regulate. So we're going to do the job of censorship for the government. Please don't worry. And Julian Assange predicted this in 2010. That the new censorship comes from the corporations, which is an extension of the government. It's actually the other way around. The government's an extension of the fucking corporation.
Yeah.
So, and now Facebook is gonna protect us. They're protecting you from Alex Jones. They're protecting you from fake news. That's what they're protecting you. First of all, what a weird timing that they all do it at the same day. What? And again, yes, this is in no way defending Alex Jones. You know, this just like the ACLU isn't defending Nazism when they defend the rights for Nazis to have a march in Skokie. They're not defending Nazism. They're defending a higher ideal. You know, that whole idea of I might not agree with what you have to say, but I'll fight to the death for your right to say it. That used to be a saying in America. So now Facebook is going to protect you from fake news. Now, again, they're going to. So the next thing that has happened is they come after lefties. They're going to come after people who disagree with Syrian war. CNN has already done that to us. They've already come out and declared we're far left conspiracy theorists. So if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're next. Because you're next. So all they have to do is say you're a conspiracy theorist. We've been called conspiracy theorists. Kyle Kalinske doesn't believe the bullshit about the wars. Maybe he's a conspiracy. You know what I mean? It's like who? So anybody who doesn't believe the bullshit conspiracy that the government gives you is then deemed. The Iraq War was a conspiracy, an evil, illegal conspiracy. So was Libya. So is Syria.
Well, I don't want to sound conspiratorial right now, but a side note, CNN said we were peddling conspiracies, and it was around the same time I started riding my bike more often.
Oh, because you're peddling?
Story.
So tell me, is this a conspiracy theory? Is this fake news? This is the Washington Post. This is from their editorial board. This isn't some jagoff they gave an op-ed to. This is their editorial board. This is the official position of the Washington Post. February 6, 2003. After Secretary of State Colin Powell's presentation to the United Nations Security Council yesterday, it is hard to imagine how anyone could doubt that Iraq possesses weapons of mass destruction. Mr. Powell left no room to argue seriously that Iraq has accepted the Security Council's offer of a final opportunity to disarm, and they offered a powerful new case that Saddam Hussein's regime is cooperating with a branch of Al-Qaeda. Remember when they used to say that? Saddam and Al-Qaeda were together, even though they fucking hated each other? And that is trying to acquire chemical weapons and stage attacks in Europe. Mr. Powell's evidence, including satellite photographs, audio recordings, and reports from detainees and other informants, was overwhelming. This is the Washington Post editorial board.
Overwhelmingly not present.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Overwhelming. What
They forgot to finish that sentence.
They forgot was overwhelmingly poorly sourced and full of holes. And then it goes on. Senator Joseph R. Biden Jr., the senior Democrat on the Foreign Relations Committee, called it powerful and irrefutable. So are all those guys conspiracy theorists? Because are all those guys? Are they peddling fake news? Should Washington Post have their Facebook page taken down because they're peddling fake news? Or do we let people who are citizens of the United States decipher what's true and what's not? And we don't let the government or a billionaire in Silicon Valley decide for us under the guise of protecting us from harmful bad news. Because they don't give a fuck about harmful bad news. They don't give a shit about this. They don't give a shit about the lies about Syria. In fact, they peddle them. They didn't care about the lies about Libya. They don't care the lies about the first Gulf War. They don't care about anything. And you know how I know? Here's the pages that they leave up at Facebook. The National Enquirer has a fucking Facebook page. Don't they? National Enquirer. And then the National Enquirer deserves the Pulitzer Prize.
I'm glad that number's not higher than 368 people. I feel that way.
47,000 like the National Enquirer.
They like it, yeah.
So should we take down the National Enquirer too because they do fake news? I'm asking. What's your litmus? If it's fake, who's going to decide if it's fake? Should the Washington Post decide it's fake, even though they peddle fake news all the fucking time?
You mean it's not hate speech for the National Enquirer to post pictures of women's thighs that are too big and unsightly for the summer on the beach? That's not hate speech against women?
How about this? World News Daily, 73,000 likes. World News Daily report. That's on Facebook. World News Daily, British man suffering from rare medical condition can only defecate through his mouth. That's on Facebook. That's the first thing that came up today. When I Googled on Facebook, I went in and I put World News Daily, and that's the first thing that came up. I think they should have a Facebook page. I think everybody who wants a Facebook page should have a fucking Facebook page. And if you don't like their Facebook page or what they're saying, you can debunk it. You can set up a page that says Alex Jones is full of shit. And here's why. And we can debunk his. Kyle Kalinske does that all the time. He does videos on he'll show you what Alex Jones is saying, and he'll show you why it's bullshit. That converts way more people to the kind of thinking you want than censoring Alex Jones or anybody you disagree with or you think is horrible. Debunk them.
They're not even stopping there on all those websites. They're also including InfoWars on Pinterest. Wow. They're getting rid of him. That's crazy. Pinterest?
I didn't know. I can't imagine him being on Pinterest. Isn't that for like recipes and stuff? Like what else? I don't use Pinterest, admittedly.
It's anything. It's anything. Okay. Like it's like you. I don't understand why he's on Pinterest either.
You don't use Pinterest?
Sorry, I'm not hip.
Oh my god,
I'm not hip to Pinterest.
How are you gonna make a smart and quick holiday gathering?
I know, right?
Like Jimmy, I'm thinking about Washington Post and how it says democracy dies in darkness, and I think right underneath it we got the Iraq War wrong. We're fake news. Like, they should have a banner.
Yes. Yes, Ron.
Well, no, it's interesting to me because, I've been seeing a lot of this on the blogosphere today, and there have been some people on the left kind of celebrating this.
I know.
And then when people come out, they're like, look, don't you... I mean, I don't like Alex Jones either. We don't disagree that he publishes a lot of despicable stuff, but don't you see the slippery slope here? Don't you see... And they're like, well, they're a private company and they can do what they want. It's like, man, you're sounding a lot like the people that are defending the NFL not allowing players to kneel during the anthem. You're sounding a lot like those people.
They're a private company.
They're a private company. And, and again, it comes back to, these companies that have this much of a platform in regards to how people get content,
right,
they should have to follow the First Amendment. If something happened where, Facebook or Apple or something, they said this is a clear violation of the First Amendment, we've solidified that via our attorneys. We have determined this is a violation of the First Amendment. Here's what happened. Here's how it violated the First Amendment. That'd be a different story. That would be a different headline, but that's not what happened here.
That's not what's happening.
Well, I also know we talked about this when we were traveling. I got a copy of a London newspaper and a woman who posts satire.
Yes.
She is being taken to court because her satire is too much. It makes people uncomfortable.
Yes.
And so is this hate speech.
For doing satire, though. First of all, if you don't think Alex Jones is doing one of the funniest comedy shows in the history of all time, you are missing out on a big joke. Because he is funny, fucking hilarious. I mean, the way he can I'm not kidding even, the way he straight faces that shit. I mean, God damn it. And he's already admitted in court that he's doing performance art. I know it. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, there's a lot of negative consequences, like for the Sandy Hook people and stuff like that. That is super unfortunate. And I understand why people want to shut him down because of that. I understand. It's like when people, it's like that question. Well, if someone, I'm against the death penalty in every situation. And somebody says, well, what if someone raped your wife or your daughter? Wouldn't you want them dead? Yes. Yes, I want them dead. I want them dead when they get my order wrong in the drive-thru. That doesn't make it right. That means the victim's not supposed to be the guy in charge of giving out the punishment. Same thing here. Do I want that kind of speech shut down? And do I not want it to infect? Yeah, but there's a higher principle involved here. The higher principle is freedom of speech for everyone, and not letting a handful of people decide who gets to have it. You either for it or you're not. You're either for it or you're not. And if you don't like what someone's saying and they think they're saying hateful stuff or stuff that's detrimental, or you can then the antidote to bad speech is more speech, not less speech. More speech. You can set up your own Facebook page, debunk Alex Jones. Set up your own thing, debunk the fake news. But again, it's not about protect, because I just showed you they have the World News Daily, and they have the goddamn what is the name of a National Enquirer, and I'm sure a million other things just like it. So if you're starting with them, well, you got to go there, and they're going to end up here. They're going to say we're protecting you from the Russia. That's why we have to shut down these pages, because they were caught pushing Russia. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to add this as another side note, and I want to pose this question, because here's another reason why I'm confused why the people that don't like Alex Jones were being celebratory here. Do you think that at the end of the day, this is going to help him?
This helps him.
I think so too.
Now he can be a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of is, in a sense. So now he plays the victim card, and now his whole thing is the establishment's trying to shut him down, and now they're shutting him down. They're deplatforming him. They're doing it. If he's a crazy person and none of the stuff he says makes sense, it should be easy for you to fucking debunk it and knock it down. Then do it. Lots of people already do that. It's just, what about religion? What about they say that if you have sex outside of marriage, you're going to burn in hell? Is that okay to put on Facebook? Is that not fake news? Is that real?
I mean, if it's not, my timeline's in trouble.
They already took down the Declaration of Independence for hate speech on 4th of July. We showed you that. Go watch that video.
Right. And I was just thinking right now, I think it's interesting, this slippery slope, because didn't Mark Zuckerberg say that, hey, when somebody is a Holocaust denier, that he'll just go, I think they just are making a mistake.
Oh, my God. That's right.
So why isn't Alex Jones just making a mistake?
He already said that if I'm going to leave up some Holocaust denying sites because, I think they're just making an honest mistake. So Mark Zuckerberg gets to decide when you're making an honest mistake and when you're not, when you're making a dishonest. He'll decide. The guy who stole the idea for the whole thing from his friends. He'll decide if you're honest or not.
Well, this also reminds me of, It makes me so worried, like we're sharing here right now. But the whole idea of like, let's say Tupac was becoming too revolutionary,
too radical.
What are they going to do to his voice?
Right?
What are they going to do to the poor people's campaign?
All right. Well, yes, you watch. I'm telling you. What are they going to do with Bernie Sanders? Black Lives Matter.
Jimmy Dore Show.
Yes. Kyle Kalinske, Humanist Report. We're next. We're next. This is not good. This is a bad thing. No matter how much you dislike Alex Jones, taking away someone's freedom of speech is not the way to handle it. More speech is the antidote to bad speech. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed. Even if you think you are, you're probably not. It only takes a second to check, and then you have to ring that bell so they send you a notification when we drop a new video. Otherwise, they won't tell you when we drop new videos. And if you like our show, please help support it. Become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every week, and we give a live stream. We do a live stream every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time when you could ask us questions and we answer them back. Thanks for your support.